Hello everyone. This video is regarding the introduction of tension members. So what are all the sections that can be used as a tension member? The first one is angles. You can use these angles as a tension member, and you can use these hollow pipes. You can use these flats or plates to construct a tension member. Even eye sections, channel sections can also be used as a tension member. So here you can see an example of a roof truss here. It comprises of both compression as well as tension member. If you observe this connection over here, so this is a compression member and this is a tension member over here. And this compression and tension is connected to an extra plate over here which is called as gusset plate. So this gusset plate is in turn connected to the column. As you can see here, so this tension member is made out of angle section. Particularly, he has used two angle sections back to back, and these two angles are connected to the gusset plate. So in place of angles, you can also use other available sections which I discussed earlier. So this is another view. So here he has used two angles back to back, whereas for this particular member he has used only one angle. Once again, this is a gusset plate. This and this are the gusset plates. So directly you cannot connect these two angles, so that's why you will be using an extra plate over here. So this extra plate is called as gusset plate. So this is another example of a truss here. So this is a gusset plate which you can see here. So this is a compression member and this is a tension, and these two are also a tension members. So here you can see an example of a single angle which is being used as a tension member, and this single angle is connected to this gusset plate. Even here this is an example of two angles which are used back to back, which comprises of a tension member. So this is the other view here of the same figure here. You can see a gusset plate is sandwiched between two angles which are placed back to back. So this is the other view. So let's take an example of a roof truss here. So this is a line diagram of a roof truss. You can see it's comprising of both tension as well as compression members. So these are the tension members: AF, FG, GE, FC and GC. And these are the compression members: AB, BC, CD, DE, FB and JD. So if you take any tension members, it fails in three types. So starting with yielding. So whenever there is a stress concentration at a particular point, the tension member, it might be an angle, flat, pipe or anything. At the point of stress concentration, it starts to yield and loses its capacity to transfer or take any extra loads. So that you can consider as one of the failure. And this yielding of gross section is represented as TDG. In order to get this value for yielding or yielding strength, if you refer a steel code, a section 6 is exclusively for design of tension members, and it's in page 32. So clause 6.2 gives you the formula to calculate TDG. So TDG is given by Ag into Fy by gamma m naught. So TDG is nothing but design strength due to yielding of gross section. So if you want to calculate the maximum capacity of any member which can take due to yielding, you can calculate this value TDG, which is given by Ag into Fy divided by gamma m naught. So Ag is nothing but the gross area of any section. If you are using a plate, gross area is obtained by multiplying its width of plate and thickness. And if you want to get the gross area of any eye section, you have to refer the steel table for that particular eye section. You will be getting the weight that you can substitute in place of Ag, gross area. And Fy is yield stress of the material, it is 250, and gamma m naught is the partial safety factor for failure in tension by yielding, and you can get this value from table 5. So this is one of the first type of failing of any tension member, that is due to yielding of gross section, that means entire section. So next type is a failure due to rupture at or of critical section, and it is represented by TDN. So what's the difference between yielding and rupture here? So yielding means at the point of concentration the material starts to behave as a plastic and loses its capacity to transfer the load. So what happens in rupture is, at the particular line, at the failure line, the plate or any given section gets separated. You can see the example over here. So this is a connection made, and totally 10 bolts are being used here. So along this line, so this is a failure line, along this line the plate has been ruptured. So this is how rupture failure occurs. Along a single line the entire section will be divided into two. The failure occurs only along one single line. It might be here, here, or it usually happens at the weaker section. And this is represented by TDN. So if you refer this steel code, you can see here. So this is 6.3. Clause 6.3 is for design strength due to rupture of critical section. And you are having this formula TDN for two cases. One is when you are using the plates as a tension member, you have to use this particular formula. We used it earlier. And if you want to, and if you are using angles, you have to go with this section, this formula over here for TDN. That is the design strength due to rupture of critical section. Remember, this is applicable only for single angles. So what if you are using two angles? I showed in the earlier figure that they are used two angles there. So how can we get TDN value for two angles? So this formula is only for one angle. If you are using for two angles, so whatever value you get here, multiply it by 2 or double it. That's it. You will be getting the value of TDN for two angles. So this is very, very important. This formula is only for one angle. If you are using two angles, the whatever value you get using this formula, I have to double it. So let us go in detail with this. So this is a design strength due to rupture of critical section when you are using plates. It is given by 0.9 times of AN into FU by gamma M1. So once again, gamma M1 is the partial safety factor for failure at ultimate stress, and you can get it from table 5. And FU is ultimate stress of the material, that is 410. And AN is the net effective area of the member, which is given by this formula over here, which I used it earlier. So B stands for width of the plate, and DH is the diameter of the bolt hole, and N stands for the number of bolt holes in the critical section. And this particular term will be used when there is a staggered pitching. So this we have used earlier. So the same formula can be used particularly to get TDN for plates. So next, what if you are using angles? So you have to go with this formula. 0.9 into A and C FU divided by gamma M1 plus beta into AG0 into Fy divided by gamma M0. So this beta I can get it from this formula over here, and this value which you get for beta, it should be less than or equal to this particular value, and also it should be greater than or equal to 0.7. And you all know what is FU, and you all know what is Fy. It's ANC and AG0 is given in the description here. The gross area of the outstanding leg. It is nothing but the area. So you can see the refer the figure over here. A single angle is connected to gusset plate over here along a single line of bolts. So this leg is nothing but connected leg, and the leg which is not connected is called as outstand leg. So AG0 stands for the gross area of this particular leg which is not connected, and ANC stands for net area of this connected leg. So for this he is using gross. Yeah, the only reason why he is using gross is there is no bolt holes here. It is not a connected leg. So he is taking the gross. Whereas here the bolt hole is driven over here. So some area is lost due to bolt hole. So that's why he will be calculating net area for the connected leg. So formulas for these two is not available in the code book. You have to calculate directly, and that I will be explaining while dealing with the problems. For right now, AG0 stands for gross area of the outstand leg, and ANC is the net area of the connected leg. So this formula will be used to get TDN for single angles. Once again, if you are using two angles, so whatever value you get for TDN, multiply by 2 or double it. So moving on to next failure mode, it is called as block shear, and it is represented by TDB. So this is how it fails due to block. The name itself says that the block will be separated, whereas here any section will be separated into two by a single line, whereas here you can see multiple lines here. The section will be separated as a block. You can see three failure lines here, whereas here you can see only one failure line. So you can see three failure lines here. These two lines, horizontal lines, are due to shear force, and this one particular vertical line is due to tension. That you have to remember. So these two horizontal are due to shear, and this particular vertical line is due to tension. So any tension member will fail by these three modes. One is due to yielding, and one is due to rupture at critical section, and block shear strength. So this is represented by TDB. So let's go to the steel code book. So 6.4 gives you the design strength due to block shear. You are having two formulas here. You have to calculate two values here. The least one you have to treat it as a design strength due to block shear. So once again you are aware of Fy, gamma m0, Fu and gamma m1. The same things are being used in both the formulas. This AVG and AVN. So what are this AVG and AVN? It's a minimum gross and net area in the shear along the bolt line parallel to the external force respectively. See, V stands for shear, G stands for gross, and N stands for net. So once again there is no formulas given in the code book. You have to calculate this without the formulas given in the code book. So the formula for this I will be explaining in detail while dealing with the problems. So as of now it is AVG, AVN. V stands for shear, G stands for gross, and N stands for net. Similarly, ATG and ATN. So here T stands for tension, G stands for gross, N stands for net. So I told you that in the block shear failure occurs due to both shear as well as tension. So these values gives gross and net areas in shear, and these values gives the gross net areas due to tension. You can refer this figure over here, and this is with respect to plate. So this is how block gets separated if plates are being used, and this is an angle here which is connected to gusset plate here. From this view you can see one angle leg, the other angle leg you can see only thickness of it. So this will be the failure plane if I am using the angles, and these two due to shear, and this is due to tension. So this is regarding the introduction. Thank you.